Venus ISD SHAC Committee to order. The time is 4:08, and we do have a quorum present. First and foremost, thank you for taking time out of a busy time of year. It's hectic, and we're all trying to push toward the end, but there's some topics that we need to check on today and get current information on. So without further ado, we don't have any guests for public comment.
No, sir.
And we're going to go to the department reports, starting with Mr. Smithwick and the student drug testing report.
Thank you. To date, we have tested, for the 21-22 school year, we have tested 386 students. Of those 386 students, we have only had 5 that have come back positive, and of those, only 2 of them have been non-medication related positives. So we have only had 2 positives related to actual drug usage that would be recreational of that nature. So I feel like the program is doing well as far as deterring students from being able to use that, and parents have been very supportive, especially of the ones that I've spoken with regarding the ones that have tested positive.
What is kind of the periodic timetable as far as how often they're testing this year?
We're still testing every month. The date fluctuates based on the testing availability of the testing company. We have a new person that is doing it. The testing company is the same, but we have a new person that is in charge of the testing. So they fluctuate as far as like beginning, middle, or end of the month. We still have yet to do December's. December's will be coming up before the end of the week next week. So.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Ms. Renner is currently unavailable, so we'll skip 4B, the SEL piece, and we'll go to Ms. Roberts for the COVID update.
Currently in the district, we have 1 student who has tested positive for COVID and is actively being quarantined right now. That's at the high school. The middle school has 1 student that we're still awaiting the documentation for, so potentially 2 students, but that's it. We're testing between 10 and 20 students per week per campus, and only those 2 have come up positive.
With the light of the new variants, has there been anything new pushed out by CDC or anything in regards to that?
Not that I'm aware of. I think that we are continuing our mitigation plan, and that is covering all of our bases, even with the new variants.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is our physical education piece. Ms. Buck was tied up with a campus situation, and so she's trying to hastily get over here, but it may be a few minutes before she gets here. Well, we're going to pause for just a second to let our other 2 members hopefully get here in time. We do have an action item, but it's in lieu of a presentation from Ms. Buck on her physical education program at middle school. We'll go ahead and jump down to 4E with child nutrition with Ms. McCormick.
The only thing I can think of right now that I'd like to share with everybody is to make sure, now that we're at a time where we're fixing to start Christmas parties and Valentine's and all of the things that the campuses might be doing, our parties, we need to remember that we've got 15 days a year for our celebrations, that we can give away food, have parties in the classroom. Also, if anybody's doing anything for classroom instruction, that can be done at any time as long as the form is filled out, turned into the principal. Principal approves it and sends it on to Mr. Moore. And then fundraisers, there can only be 6 fundraisers a year on each campus. Those have to be approved fundraisers before that fundraiser starts. So just to make sure that we are staying in compliance with that. if PTO is having a fundraiser and it is inside the school on a regular scheduled day, yes, that includes like the school store, like a Christmas store. That would be one of your 6 days, yes, if they did the Christmas store.
Does that also include if people take orders for stuff, or is that separate?
If you're taking orders during the day and you are exchanging money or token, coin, that is considered selling at school and will be considered a fundraiser, yes.
I think you might mean like the online or the catalog type of sales,
Right,
not
if it's
physically.
catalog, where you're actually not giving the student the item, and it's gonna come later, or gonna be a school pickup of an afternoon or at night, that's not considered a fundraiser. Only if you're selling and giving away on the campus during the school day.
So it has to be I give money to somebody and get something in return at that point.
That's right.
So if my PTO chooses to do a Christmas store, we should have that approved.
That is
We need to
correct.
fill out that form.
And one thing about those forms, I'm sure all of you probably know where they are, but just for those that don't know, if you will go to the child nutrition website, the page, and go all the way to the bottom, it says links. And in those links is those 3 forms. The one for classroom instruction, it'll say that. For your parties and giveaways, and it'll actually show the fundraiser. There's all 3 of those there.
Okay, thank you, Ms. McCormick. We're gonna jump back up to 4B, to the social emotional learning, and let Ms. Renner have the floor.
Got it. So we did the PASS survey for all kids K through 12. And basically, the survey looks at barriers to education according to the student. The administration of each campus looked at that data, and they have all created a plan to address any needs that the kids might have.
Is there any one particular area of concern that kind of targets across the board, or is it campus by campus?
It's campus by campus, but there is kind of they're not very motivated right now, put it that way. And that's across the board, K through 12.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Let me see if I can get in contact with Ms. Buck to see what her status is. We may have to postpone this one till next meeting. Ms. Buck is tied up with the campus situation and won't be available for her presentation. So we'll just move that line item to our next meeting, which brings us down to number 6. Are there any other thoughts, questions, or concerns that this committee needs to discuss at this time? Okay. Next, number 7, the next scheduled meeting is February 9th, followed by an April 27th. That will bring us to our required 4 meetings a year. And so at that point in time, we'll discuss the physical education curriculum that we're looking at adopting for the middle school. If there's no further questions, concerns, or thoughts, it brings us to number 8, and we will adjourn. 4:19.